I think that is the basic foundation that Moolya has been built on. And I was a sales guy then.
Okay.
And sales was my forte. So what I do is I used to help people fix their phones.
Oh, nice.
Like make it faster.
Ah.
By how? And I used to install some apps, clear some cache and play around with the app size.
Yeah, so we have a few fancy things here. We'll just play them.
Thank you.
Hey all, welcome back to this segment where we are talking to one and only Abilash Hari, who heads solutions at Moolya. He's been talking about his life experiences, about the way his journey started in software testing, his learnings, what he does on a day-to-day basis, and others. So going back to Abhi, wanted to know about the future. And I know that you've been working on security audits for Web3 platforms. So would you like to talk a little bit about that and educate our audience?
Yeah, I think what we have been doing is to like one of the things that has been the theme is think ahead of times, and we have always been challenging ourselves on what areas that we can get into overall to enable challenging environment and come up with new tools and technologies and enable our testers also to keep the entire testing as an exciting choice of career, right? And of that is what we have initiated this on the blockchain front. So we've been learning about blockchain for quite some time now, and we've been talking to a lot more customers, and we have worked with a lot of blockchain companies already at Moolya. We've been testing their smart contracts. We've been testing their Web3 side of it. And also we enabled a lot of back-end related testing for blockchain and things like that. So this is something that we've initiated and we've been running it for quite some time. It's been successful so far, and but it is also quite challenging because I think one of the things that we have been able to see is that testers are very new to this particular space.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's not like traditional circle where testers were involved since the initial stage of developing a new technology.
Yeah.
And this is but in terms of ML and AI,
Yeah.
I think there were a lot of testers involved and there were a lot of homework that were happening. But when it comes to blockchain, it was not like that.
Yeah.
Because you do not have control over how things are working. Let's say if you take Ethereum, right, how it works on the back, and you don't have control over it.
I think the education is also really limited in that space.
Correct.
Not enough material outside.
Yeah, first of all, education for blockchain is limited.
Yeah.
And education for blockchain on testing is
Correct.
even more difficult.
Testing
It's like a
blockchain,
rare breed in
Correct,
the industry, and I think that's what we have been working on. I think once I would like to also see in the future that MoolyaEd bringing in certain courses on blockchain,
Yeah.
testing blockchain technologies,
Yeah.
and the entire cycle of blockchain. And Web3 is a part of it. We've done a lot of work on Web3 and NFT spaces.
Oh, nice.
Right?
Nice.
We've been part of launch of multiple celebrities launching their NFTs
Very nice.
and things like that. But the idea of this blockchain and the current state of the market is a bit different, right? We have been able to look at how things are in terms of market scenario and how it's going to span up over there, because these are experimental technologies.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's not been proven as such, and it's not how things are looking like, right? So we will have to see how it spans out, but we should not take a step back and say, hey, let's hold on for some time till it sort of recovers and go on. But we should still go ahead and explore. I think our ability to get into blockchain, our ability to train testers on blockchain has been incrementally better.
Got
and
it.
been able to do a lot of stuff.
I think that's one definite space where we would want to do more. And as I said, as at MoolyaEd also we would want to bring courses that focuses on this, build that kind of capability for it first, and then bring it out to the world. That's great. Thanks, Abhi. Really nice having you here, talking to you about your journey, about what you've done. It's it's very different compared to a lot of traditional career paths in testing. People go on from, say, associate testers, junior testers, senior testers, team lead, test managers, senior managers, principal QA, and all those things. But yeah, you have had a different journey, and that's really nice to know.
Yeah.
Coming from a completely different background to coming up, doing stuff, building tools like Perfetchi, Apache, and others, and then open sourcing them as well. That's huge. And then doing solutions to them, meeting tons of customers, creating solutions for their specific problem statements. I think that's a great skill set to have. You are yourself a rare breed in the space of software testing.
Yeah, I think it's no more.
It's no more.
It's
Okay.
no more a rare thing because I'm seeing a lot more testers
Okay.
coming out like this.
Nice.
in these
That's a
days.
good sign for the
It's a
entire
good sign,
industry. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, we'll move on to the next stuff, which is now you spoke about your learnings. You spoke about how you joined, how you started learning and everything. Then I want to know, how was your career path like?
Yeah.
Because the career path is a very important question that a lot of new guys in software testing want to know,
Correct.
even before they get into. Because see, for devs and for others, there are like career paths are all over the internet.
Correct.
Even in a formal education program, you don't have software testing as much focus, but you have software dev or really big focus. And a lot of companies talk about that, but very few companies talk about career paths in software testing.
Correct.
So while we can talk about what are traditional paths, but I want to know your path. What was the path that you took? How things went?
Yeah, so I think one of the things I started doing when I was in the early stages also to say where do I want to head towards, and actually built a lot of clarity because you keep questioning yourself, what do you want to do, right? It could be something, a product of software testing, or it could be building some tools for software testing and things like that, right? The fact that I'm able to think that I want to build a career path makes a lot of difference. And I also have to tell you that for many people, right, I think you should also communicate this to their employers, right, of whether you want to, what kind of career path you want to move towards. It may be that something you have figured out on your own. It may be something that you will figure out in the future. But I think if you put a mind map of career path, right,
Yeah.
there are multiple aspects to this.
Yeah.
One is if you look at automation as one area, and then there is BA in testing, which we are
Yeah.
actually emphasizing
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot on
Yeah.
how things, how are we thinking from product perspective, from
Yeah.
tech perspective,
Yeah.
from test perspective, and also overall engineering, right?
Yes,
It
yes.
builds a holistic testing progressive structure around
Yes,
it.
yes.
And then we also, people have become product owners of
Yeah.
being a tester,
Yeah.
right? And I've been a product guy.
Yeah.
So I build products, I've launched products open source, and there are ones which are being used by big companies. The fact that product has been my passion and also my area of interest, I like to move that. But I think now with many people that I'm working with, so I work with a lot of BA folks in Moolya. We are creating BA in testing, and the typical understanding of BA in the market is very different.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what we do is completely different.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And we focus on business metric. We
Correct.
focus on improving someone's conversion from, let's say, 5% to 7%.
Yeah.
And that's a big task in itself.
True.
Right? And bringing in thought process of testing inside this is also, and it is also unlearning. It is not just learning a new thing, it's also unlearning a little bit of software testing. Then move towards how a product owner would think, how a developer would think, how someone else would think, right? And I think being a software tester, you have a lot of flexibility to get into multiple parts of the product journey. And there's also a misconception that you need to know coding.
Yeah.
And yes, you need to know coding
Mm.
to automate some of your tasks that you are doing. For
Yeah.
example, when I was working with one of the editorial customer, so I actually wrote a small script and I failed. And
Congratulations.
yeah, I think that was the first realization
Uh.
of why you should not try doing everything on your own, right? I'm good at conceptualizing and doing, breaking things and all of that, but I couldn't code. So sometimes you don't have to try yourself. So I actually hired a developer
Huh.
of my own money to build this tool.
Huh.
It was a tool to basically, now we have this test with Google and things like that where it gives you a report of how your speed of the website is. So I built a tool then using web developer to give you a coverage of where do you stand in terms of usability as of today.
Okay.
Based on something, because I couldn't write it.
Huh.
But you can bring someone else to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that the idea of, let's say, product mindset,
Yeah.
the idea of tech mindset, idea
Yeah.
of test mindset, all coming together makes a huge difference.
Yeah, correct.
And the career path is much wider now.
Correct.
Right?
I think what you said about see, the ideation is actually really important. It's the first step. Obviously, executions are important as well. But if you have the ideation right, you can always get it executed, whether yourself or through somebody.
Yeah, I think that's one of the restrictions that testers think, right?
Yeah, correct. It's a mental
block, right? That I can't write.
Yeah, so I'll not even ideate.
Yeah, I'll not even ideate because I don't know Java.
Correct.
I can't learn this because I don't know this.
Correct.
You sometimes don't have to.
Correct.
And you can become really good at something that you are already good at.
True.
And
True.
build on top of
True.
it. But from a career path perspective, right? I would say that now at this stage with new age products, new technologies, like let's say ChatGPT and things like that, things
Yeah.
are going to change completely.
Yeah.
And you can get into vast amount of areas.
Yeah.
I would say it's unlimited opportunities.
Correct.
In terms of how you want to grow and which area you want to go.
Correct.
But sometimes you will have to spend time to understand where, because you cannot predict the future, but you can understand how things are based on the kind of company that you're working with, right? We know Moolya, we bring certain customers, we know which category that we are getting into. You can ask companies, employer, where is that you want to head towards?
Yeah.
And you build shape your
upskill
career
on
path
that
around
side.
it. Correct.
I think one more thing is, don't just be on the surface level.
Correct.
For a lot of it, don't just be on the surface level. Find some depth.
Correct.
Which is the most important. While working out on different things is very good, but create depth in each and then continue to move.
So I think there is a team methodology.
Ah.
Right? You need to be broad enough in terms of understanding the concept. There is one line at the
Correct,
bottom.
correct.
So that's your
Correct.
expertise.
Primary,
Yeah.
secondaries.
And the depth is something that you have to be really good at. Like,
Correct.
people should come to you for that.
Correct.
It can be, let's say, as small as writing a Selenium script that will take 2 minutes for you to conceptualize and put it together. Or it could be you writing great test ideas,
Yeah.
right? Documenting great test ideas. And so the T methodology actually puts it. So you basically draw a T, then put these are the things that I'm good at. There's one thing that you're really good at, which
Yeah.
is comes at the bottom.
And it is doable.
It's absolutely
Very
doable.
much doable.
Very much doable.
I think just being part of Moolya and seeing so many stories here, people starting as software testers and then moving into data analytics and others. People like yourself starting from software testing, moving into product roles,
Yeah.
and then now solutioning roles.
Yeah.
So people like myself as well doing multiple things. So it is, and I was also for this discussion I was reading yesterday about software testing and stuff, and I saw one article which spoke of so many opportunities are there for a software tester today because of the ecosystem that's created, because
Correct.
of the platform where a QA sits, where a
Correct.
software tester sits.
Correct.
Software tester has an understanding from day one to day end, from A to Z, where he understands user experiences, features, depth of features, what APIs are written, how are they communicating with each other, how engines communicating with each other. So on the tech side as well, and on the functional business side, user side as well, that creates a great
Correct.
understanding. And these guys come at a center where they can go into DevOps if they want.
Correct.
They can go into development also. We've seen a lot of people do that. They can go into product roles, become product owners, and start building products. They can go into project management side because
Correct.
they have to look at so many areas within a project management. I've seen people get into a PMO sort of role, sort of in P&L sort of roles as well, profit loss sort of roles. So I think for a dev it might actually be more difficult. One is because everybody would want you to stay in the dev, so that mental block is higher there. And here the mental block is not as high because people want to do different stuff.
I want to just point out that in dev, right? So let's say you have mean stack, non stack, you have DevOps. There are certain technologies and combination of technologies that you can go deeper and become really good at it. And I think as a software testing companies and as a team, we all have to also contribute to creating certain concepts of how you can get deeper into. Like for example, when we were working a couple of years before, we were the first one to understand fragmentation of how
device fragmentation.
Yeah, the device fragmentation part of it. We were way ahead of the time that we actually conceptualized saying that the Android apps and iOS apps will go through this problem. So there is a curve of failure and then they drop slowly. Now we are at the very bottom of the curve, but there was one point of time we know that every company will fail at some point of time with their apps that they are building. We're very clear about it. And we actually put together a team to build sampling of devices that now all those folks who have been in that the team have become Android devs. Right? And fortunately or unfortunately, but I would say that people have actually understood the depth of how things are going to fail and ability to actually oversee things and also get towards that. Like you mentioned, the project management is one part of it, product owner is one part of it, and I would say that you can also get into, let's say, the BA in testing is a great space, right?
So I want to actually focus on that BA in testing part. I know we look software testing as a business role. While it is a tech role, but it's more of a business role. It has software testing for a business impact.
Correct.
Now in that space, we have started something called BA in testing, which we are running the program. So I want to know more from you. What is BA in testing? What kind of impact it is creating, and what was our vision for the program?
Yeah, so BA in testing is like a farmer of tester. Right? When I say farmer is, a farmer needs to know how cattle works. A farmer needs to know how soil works. Farmer can drive a tractor. Farmer can know everything about the field, how the crops work, how the climate works.
It's a full stack farmer.
It's a full stack, full stack farmer, right? So BA in testing is a combination of putting a thinking hat and also bringing the understanding of testing and the understanding of product value together, right? And when we mean by that, our vision is to create testers who can directly impact business metrics. Right now, we are impacting business metrics, but indirectly, because the fact that you have multiple layers of people in the middle of the cycle.
So in the today current software tester is not influential enough. There's not enough space for him to influence.
Correct.
And that's why the new term, I think all software testers originally should have been BA in testing.
Correct. I think that's the thing. The idea is that we failed in creating a lot more BAs because we didn't understand BAs better. A couple of years before, right? We didn't understand what it means to deliver something, and it was also difficult for us to communicate this to the customers also, because what kind of impact are we going to make?
Correct.
How are we going to impact your revenue?
Yeah.
How are we going to improve your business metrics?
And they don't have any awareness there. They are not educated that this can actually create such an impact.
Some customers, we have been there and they're like, what is this? Like, I don't understand any of this. Right? But I think we are building a huge awareness of what BA in testing means and what it could do. And this is a great space. And I think there is a lot of career path inside BA in testing. We have built expertise who are very good at supply chain testing. And we have built expertise who are really good at user experience. Right? They have taken only those parts. Now they are become the subject matter experts.
I think by changing the designation, we have created more space for them. I think all software testers were originally supposed to do it, but because they did not have the right designation, the designation did not have the right influence. Now when we have changed the designation and we have put them in a different scope, now they come from a testing side as well, and they come from a business side as well, and I'm hoping that this new category that we are building will have much more impact on the coming products.
I think we are not building a new category. We are not reinventing it. It is there. We're just digging it out, right? And I think we need everyone inside this. And the way we package the BA in testing is also that we bring in a combination of someone who understands development,
Okay.
like who can literally code, who can fix bugs.
Huh.
And we are also bringing people who are really good at that particular subject. For example, e-commerce, it may be,
Huh.
it may be data analytics
Huh.
and things like that. So we're bringing all these people together to solve one particular problem. Now, for people who are, let's say, really good at Java or Python, they can get into data analytics. People who are good into, let's say, they can write automation scripts. They can build some, they can use no code, low code to build automated systems,
Yeah.
right? And there is, RPAs and
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah,
other
yeah,
things.
yeah.
We are just touching a small point of
Correct.
the
Frog in a
spectrum.
pond.
Yeah, this is a small spectrum it is. I
Yeah.
think if you get into companies like, let's say, Moolya, right? We are constantly experimenting with our customers. When I say experimenting, we are finding out customers who have very complex challenges.
Yeah.
That requires different thinking.
Correct.
That requires different thought process from
Correct.
a typical way of doing things.
Correct.
And that's where we are actually becoming successful.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking how many customers feel that their business problems can be solved through a software tester? Not
0%.
many, correct.
Right.
So once that awareness sort of goes out, education goes out, there are possibilities where this can happen, and much more revenues or business could be created.
Yeah, I want to just highlight that the fact that one of the projects that we are working, where we have actually put in a lot of folks from MoolyaEd,
Huh.
right? They have been into machine learning
Okay.
and AI.
Okay.
Maybe you know about the project, your
Yeah,
teams.
yeah,
Yeah, but the fact that they are actually analyzing the accuracy of AI.
Okay.
And machine learning and AI has been a big role in the industry right now.
Uh-huh.
Before there was Web3 and
Yeah.
I mean, there's different waves goes
Correct,
at different
they
point of
keep
time.
coming.
Yeah, it keeps going coming, but then the maturity is somewhere it takes time,
Yeah.
right? And that's where we also picked up, like how we picked up mobile, we also picked up ML and AI. And one of the customer that we're working with, where MoolyaEd folks are a part of this, one person is looking at how the AI accuracy can be improved.
Okay, nice.
And this is, I mean,
Very
all
different.
you heard about in software design, the right test cases,
Yeah, yeah,
and then
correct.
execute. Correct. That's a very different perspective to
Correct.
what we are doing today.
Got it. Great, Abhi. While we are going beyond our time, but I don't care about it. It's really nice. I'm really excited talking to you. We just spoke about your career path. We spoke about different learnings and everything. We diverged a little bit, but we'll come back. We'll go to the next thing, which is how does a day in your life today looks like? I understand you have done so many things, different places, India, outside, and different rules. But today, what do you do, and how does a normal day in your life looks like?
Right now, my life revolves around customers a lot.
Very nice. That's good.
And that's a good sign.
That's good for Moolya.
That's a good sign for all of us. But every day we at least speak to about 3 to 4 customers.
Okay.
And existing ones, new ones, potential, and we also try to experiment a lot of it.
Okay.
And the fact that every day I spend a lot of time with my team to enable them to do things a bit different than what they've done yesterday.
Okay.
That's one of the important thing for me, to keep my team excited about what they are doing. And I have kept a secret email chain that talks about what kind of tools that we are exploring on a daily basis.
Okay.
We take one particular tool,
Okay.
experiment how things are going to look like.
Okay.
So all our teams spend 15 minutes every day on this
So
particular
these
tool.
tools are software testing focused
Correct.
or outside of the ones?
It's a combination
software
of
test-
software
okay.
testing. It's a combination of productivity and enablement and
Okay.
a lot of other things.
Oh, nice.
But this is also to see what kind of enablement that we can do with our new customers.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Let's say we are talking about Web3,
Yeah.
or how will you test a blockchain tool, right?
Yeah.
Or if you're talking about smart contracts and
Uh-huh.
things like that. So we try to experiment, and then we hand it over to multiple teams to enable
Got
that.
it. I think this also, brings us to the initial point that you mentioned very early in your life. You wanted to always be ahead of what is happening. So I think this is also being ahead of time.
Correct.
And
This
building
is
that
also
expertise.
to enable our folks, right? I mean, I would say that you are not excited anymore for seeing things that have been doing for quite some time.
True.
And that's what I think even the new testers should be extremely excited about, is the opportunity to explore new fundamental areas of the new technologies that are coming in. See, I speak to a lot of testers, right? And I interview a lot of people. On my day-to-day basis, I also work with a lot of testers. So one thing that I ask them is, what is that new thing that you have seen today, right? If you look at Twitter, if you look at technologies that are happening, if you look at, for example, Boston Dynamics, I've been following them for quite some time. They're building a robot that sort of dances. The dog one, and
dog.
there's a big one where it carries, tries to
Yeah.
automate certain factory process.
There's a lot of show off.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you look at the data points, right, to that, and the complexity of how it is human-like, it's extremely, I mean, exciting and terrifying at the same time. But the fact that there's a lot of homework that goes into this.
Okay, how do you test a dancing dog?
Yeah, how do you? Yeah, that's a whole idea, right? I mean, how do you think ahead of time is to question?
Correct.
How will you basically test something like this? And how? I mean, I also asked this question to a lot of testers, right? How would you test this? And how would you do this? How would you do it differently?
Yeah, a good interview question for our interviewers out there.
Yeah, probably if you are getting interviewed by me, I would ask this question. So, but yeah, I think also spend a lot of time with a lot of testers. I think 1 hour a day where I try to trigger certain questions that would make them think beyond a particular boundary, right? We are thinking out of the box is what people tell, but I say that it has to come from within. But what we can do is put in a seed that sort of grows in the future.
Got it.
And there are, I think, a lot of people, even from MoolyaEd, right? They've come to me and asked, "Hey, I want to build a product. Hey, I want to I want to do something different, right? I am very interested in data analytics.
Yeah.
And can I do this? Can I do that?" I think that's a big change, right?
Yeah, correct. And I think the very good point. Software testers are not limited to testing today. That's for sure. The bright ones or the enthusiastic ones, which we try to focus on building, those guys are not limited to the scope that's been created by the industry for them, and they want to rebel through it, get out of it, and do more stuff. That's a great sign. I think being curious.
Yeah, I think in my day-to-day basis, my idea is to enable because I'm curious, right? I watched every episode of Air Crash Investigation multiple times in my life throughout my journey.
Do you want to be part of it?
No, I definitely don't want. But I'm very confident that nothing is going to happen given how things have been in that. But I'm saying I'm very curious about how nature works, how big engineering marvel.
I was actually going to say a lot of self-appraisal there.
A lot of self-appraisal, but I think that's what triggers a lot of curiosity. I think that's what made I think I created and enabled a lot more testers because of that.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, I'm sure we're all beneficiaries of that. And I think it all goes back to the one rebellious decision that somebody in Moolya, Pradeep, or somebody else would have taken back in time when we thought to bring you on board. So they've got returns, exponential returns.
Hopefully, I hope so. Yeah, I think I would say that we are the idea of creating more testers. Is amazing. Right. And that's what you've been doing.
That's really noble as well. See, while there is a business part to it, the business part creates the affordability to do the noble work. So I was just going through some documents of number of people who have been placed in MoolyaEd and all, and I saw that we have created 40 lakh rupees for those people. So those guys got a job because they learned something, and they got so that's a good amount. And for us, that's also one of our North Star metric that we would constantly want to bring it up. And as big as it goes, that's like nothing, kind of. Great. So yeah, we discussed about how a normal day in your life looks like. Just to summarize, you speak with new customers, identify problem statements, look at solutioning, you look at the old customers you have spoken to, check out how the work is going on, whether we are delivering on what we discussed, and you meet with a lot of our testers to
Yeah.
get them to learn, get them to do stuff, and you get your teams to also focus on new tools, new technologies that that are in the market. There are tons of them. It's, I think,
I think
impossible.
one of the things that everybody should do is that I am a very avid product hunt user.
Okay.
I basically explore a tool every week,
Oh, nice.
and that's my goal.
Okay.
Right? That's 4 tools a month.
Okay.
Right? And that's why, let's say, even you have worked with me, I come up with some
Yeah,
new
yeah.
random
Shift
tool
X.
that is something like that, right? And that's where I also enable my team. I think as a tester, as also the curiosity builds in.
Yeah.
We will have to explore a lot of tools.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether you are in training or you're doing testing or you're part of automation or
Yeah,
you're in
yeah.
this. I think you'll have to explore a lot of products to understand the product mentality in which you are going to get into.
Correct. Got it. Great. That was great to know. We'll move towards the future. So we have discussed about what you have done in the past, what you're doing today. What does future look like? What are your personal ambitions, and what do you want to do?
Yeah, I can't predict a future a lot, but I would say that the area that we are moving towards is quite crazy, given, let's say, ChatGPT, and you're talking about robots, and you're talking about a lot of jobs being replaced by AI, ML tools, and things like that. Because this has been in work for quite some time in the past, right? ChatGPT took 7 years to mature, and people think that we are able to sort of match it up. My question and curiosity is, the software testing will slowly move towards because we are very adaptive, right? Software testing as an industry is extremely adaptive. I think, unlike because there is a transition phase for developers to go from one technology to other technology, but the transition for testers from one technology to other technology is much more, I would say, easier, because you have faced enough challenges to get there, right? And the future looks like, and I believe that you will be enabled with a lot more tools to do testing. And it could be AI driven. It could be no code, low code, which is a great space right now. And I think everybody should also become really good at certain tools of no code. And that's what we're doing with MoolyaEd as well, right? We are training people on specific tools who are our partners to bring them. If they may be really good at thought process, but they want to be enabled with a tool.
We've not started that yet. But we are planning to do that. So we are planning to bring in low code, no code tools to train students to automate. See, one thing that we've seen in the space is a lot of people learn programming in order to automate when they are testers. But that's not the right idea. You need to learn programming in order to build tools.
Correct.
Now, one of the things that you could do is automate also.
Correct.
But ideally, you should be building tools that help in testing or help your building your product quality better, helps you in your effort. So, but there are obviously people who find it very challenging to learn that, and for them, I think low code, no code platforms.
I think you have to do a lot more thinking job.
And then, correct. That's the job. Thinking job is software testers.
And I think that's going to be getting more difficult in the future with software testing, because of the level of complexity that you are going to handle. For example, I think even now my question is, I am trying out multiple things on ChatGPT, and if you ask about how we can test ChatGPT, right, and that becomes a very challenging area for us. And those are the things, and I think get into business driven testing. I think that's going to be the future, and that's going to hit a huge buckets in the industry.
Correct. Actually, everything, finally it's a business. Every member, whether it's dev, design, test, product, whoever it is, has to finally have a business impact.
Correct.
So, and I think testers are in a great position to create that business impact and show that business impact.
Correct.
Thank you very much. We'll wrap this session today. And thank you again. Thanks to all our audience for reaching this stage, watching it till the end. Any final words?
Yeah, I think it's been exciting. This is a great initiative, and I would like to see a lot more people coming in, and I would like to learn, understand, and explore their stories, side of the stories as well.
Yeah.
And thanks for giving me this opportunity. I think we have been friends for quite some time. We have had our own side of discussion, but this has been deeper than typically it would get towards, and I think a lot of insights. We will also and MoolyaEd as a entity where you guys are trying to create opportunities and testers, right? And I think this is something that we've been dreaming of,
Yeah.
right? And it's happening
Correct,
right now.
correct.
And I'm very grateful.
Correct.
And I've worked with a lot of testers. I know how things work, and you've been pushing it really hard to get this to many more people.
Yeah, I know
right?
at MoolyaEd we are at baby steps today.
Yeah.
Giant leaps for the
Yeah.
future, but baby steps.
Yeah, I think the baby is going quite fast, growing very fast. So I hope that it becomes adult very soon,
Yeah.
and more people from very corners of the country,
Yeah.
and come in and
Become
part
great testers. Yes.
become part of this, and great. Looking forward to seeing more testers.
Thank you very much.
Thank
very
you
much.
for having me, and good to have you guys. I hope you continue to watch and be part of this journey, and to learn more and enable yourselves to become a great tester.
Thanks everybody for joining us in this segment. Watch out this space to know more.